and gentlemen, my name is Jeff Crane. I'm with Tokenize here in Las Vegas, 2024 Tokenize event with Kurt Walker, with a company called Fusion 42. I had to practice that 7 times. I've been interviewing so many people, but this guy is, did I not get it right?
You did.
Dude, he's crushing me here. Fusion 42, folks. I'm going to say it 3 more times. Listen, I'm so glad to meet you. I've heard great things about you. You've got some close friends of mine that are mutual friends, and you came out here, and my first experience with you, aside from, wow, I get to shake Kurt's hand, is you have a good friend who was going to the bathroom, and as soon as he came out, I was like, interview this guy. And I was like, let's do this. So I guess hang out at the bathroom and you get an interview.
You gotta look out for the future innovators.
Yeah, dude, you're not messing around, dude.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah, we're on a mission to put fintech and the future founders on the map, and to make sure Vegas gets a small little bit of the credit.
And I like the fact that you're supporting the youth. I mentor the youth up in Utah, and I think that's important. So tell us what Fusion 42 is.
So part of the reason I'm so excited about Unison is because it represents something I feel I left a little undone. So I came from lending, helped to start building startup loans many, many years ago. I was doing a bunch of capital brokering and private equity. I made the decision after many years in that space, though, to move over to the dark side and become a venture capitalist and to do venture debt. And at some point, I started seeing that I feel like fundraising is fundamentally broken. And so as a crazy person, much like my friend here with Unison, I decided I needed to really do something about that to streamline, automate, and simplify the fundraising process on the equity side. However, I also believe the debt is an extremely viable option, so it's important to support, channel partnerships where you're going to be able to co-build together, because you're handling a very difficult task on the other side of the fence, right? Because equity only represents one of the 4 major capital categories, if you want to call it the way. There's public and gov funds, there's debt, there's equity, and then there's this thing I call raised revenue sponsored capital, which is essentially when founder funders, which is my entire North Star. Everything I do is about creating more founder funders than anyone else on earth, through community, through acceleration efforts, and through technology, capital matching technology. But founder funders is the whole cycle. And so we're willing to do whatever is required at Fusion 42 to help founders get there. And part of that is allowing them to have the access to the best in-class resources and relationships all at once, and then over time as well.
Now, listen, we're here at Michael Turpin's Tokenize event here in Las Vegas, and you guys probably go back.
We do,
right?
We do. And we've hung out in California.
Yeah,
our events. We've hung out here in Vegas and in Puerto Rico.
Yes,
great guy, Joyce too.
Yes, Joyce. Oh, she's fabulous. It's fantastic. What do you think of the Tokenize events? And where do you think the direction is going with this?
So here's what I'm excited about. When I built a couple of communities ago, many moons ago, we sent Justin doesn't actually know this. We spent 1/4 of our time educating people on blockchain in the community. It was so time intensive, but it was in the earlier days. So what I like about Tokenize is I think it's an event that is a broader topic that really looks at the future of where blockchain is actually going, which I'm very much in favor of.
Yeah.
And I will also say, normally I'm the type of guy that won't be caught dead sitting through a session.
Right.
I'd rather be at the back of the room talking to the great people that come. But I've actually been very interested in a few of the topics and some of the perspectives that have been shared today, whether it's the level of security that we're probably taking for granted, or where are things going, politically speaking, in our country as it pertains to blockchain and everything else. And so good on the team.
Yeah.
Pulling in some interesting individuals with nuanced perspectives.
It's really neat to see our culture where, like Brock Pierce, he'll have an event, he'll do his thing, and he brings in a different flavor. There's a lot of charity, a lot of stuff that's going on. Michael Turpin comes in, he brings in. They work together, they work separately, right? Yeah. Where I'm leading with that is, how awesome is it that we have like these friends and these mentors, these peers, these people that we work with who are accessible, that aren't just on some tower looking down upon us, quote unquote, lower people.
This is one of the reasons, and Justin and I were just having this conversation actually, I really believe that really great visionary founders, they naturally build community around them, but I think they can be even more intentional about it. They can actually say, I'm going to have a GTC, I'm going to have a go-to community strategy. And it's a long-term play, but what it really means is I'm building a personal brand and I'm building a brand in my company at the center of all the action, at the center of the thought leadership, at the center of the value, right? And I know that as an active VC, for many years, my partners were like, why are you doing all these freaking events? Like, what's the ROI on this? And I said, what's the ROI, baby?
Yeah.
It's the return on relationship.
Love that.
And I think it's great when you can mix and mingle these different communities. But what I also say is the leaders that build a community and what they decide and define that an architect that it stands for is ultimately what will determine the vibe and really the energy of that community.
I love it. ROR.
Yeah.
I love it. Bro, it's so awesome. Thank you. Thanks for the interview.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the time. All right.